our goal is to go 1-0 every week, and that's the goal this week. Focused on obviously West Virginia and who they are and what they do. And I think our kids have been locked in all week. I think they're ready to go, and should be a fun rivalry game.
Pat, in the last 2 times that you played this team, they have been able to run the ball, and you guys, Cincinnati is able to run the ball a bit. What do you guys have to do this week to change that trend?
We got to stop the run. They did run the ball, a little bit against us last year. I don't know what the yardage was, but I know they had 212 total yards. So anytime you're under 212 yards, that's pretty good. Just to stop the run, you got to score points too. I think scoring points. I think last week, we ran into the same thing in the first half. Is when you're down, they can run the ball more. It's just you got it makes it easy for them because they're up by whatever 14, 21 points, and we were allowing them by the scoreboard to be able to call those plays because if you're down by 14 on the other end, you have to think otherwise. So we got to help ourselves that way. I think we gave up 3 big runs last week, and again, as you watch the tape, it's execution. It's not like, oh man, they got us. That's a great call. We had a crappy call in there, so we just got to execute better and make plays.
What parts of your defense give you the confidence that this defense can do that better in this game?
All parts. If I only felt good about one part, Chris, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I'd have no confidence in what we're doing. So I think we're capable everywhere. You got to go out and do it. You got to do it, and you got to do it consistently. You can't do it one play, look real good, and then, oh, sorry, we gave up that play. So, we'll probably keep guys out on the field. I wasn't happy last week when we made some rotations after the first series. Putting some other guys in. It's like, no, this is playing to win the game, and want to keep the starters out there.
Kyle Lewis, didn't seem like he really came off the field at all.
He came off that second series. I wouldn't take number 9 off the field.
Was that the last time he came off?
Maybe because I yelled. Might be.
What has he done to sort of get himself in a position where you just don't want to take him off the field?
He's a football player. He's tough. He's physical, and you can trust him that he's going to do everything exactly the way you want it. If he's going to make a mistake, he's going to make it, 110 miles per hour, and that's what the guy. He's reckless, and that's what you want out of a guy that's on the field. I don't want hesitators out there, and he's a guy he's a starter for a reason.
What's the difference between a good reckless and a bad reckless?
Reckless is good. Unless you're rushing the punt, don't be reckless. Hit the punter.
We've talked a lot about blitzing, I feel like lately. Are you able to blitz as much against a guy like Green who runs as much as he does?
Depends on what kind of blitz you're doing. We're more of a zone blitz team, so I think it fits into our hands, maybe what we like to do. Obviously, we got to be calculated because they'll throw screens. We're ready for them motioning into trips and throwing screens and doing all kinds of stuff. So for me, I would think we prepared a lot for the screens because we have blitzed less last week than the week before. I think we talked percentage. What was it, Jerry?
33.
Oh man, you're wrong. It was 41 last week. Usually we're somewhere between 31 and 33. Last week, opening week, it was 41. Last week it was maybe in the 34 range.
It seemed like it was more.
You gotta pay attention.
It seemed like it was more
last week. I've had people tell me it looks like we're blitzing. Like when you read fast, it looks like blitzing. Okay, if you play fast as linebackers, it should look like 95% blitz. But true, you can tell by the coverage when the coverage changes and the safeties come down and someone goes back. But to your point, when we blitz, it's zone pressure. So we have, we got 22 guys. Excuse me, we got 11 guys on the field, and we have 22 eyeballs. Right? We want to have eyes on the ball. There's only one ball. So when you have pressure and you got eyes on the ball, it's safer. Now, if you're playing man coverage and you got eyes on receivers, that's when we worry about a quarterback running. And we've got a little bit of man pressure as well, like we always do. If we want to dial it up, and that's when you have to worry about that. You got to be right there. And we've practiced, some of our man stuff versus option and all the different stuff that they could possibly do versus, if they see man, check into it.
For those that haven't been a part of this rivalry, do you feel like they have an understanding of what Saturday's going to be?
I think so. I think Monday we talked about 76 guys in that room that were there last year. So that's 3/4 of a football team. So I think that matters. I'm sure they all talk to each other in the locker room while they're taking showers and get ready, go to class. So I think they understand what it's all about, and I've tried to educate them a little bit about what it's going to be like, how loud it's going to be. all the conversations that will happen in the stands, and so I think they got a good feel of the flavor that we're going to get this week.
Weather was really nice all week, but you went inside the practice, and just being extra careful.
Extra careful, paranoid. You got people in the hills, and they live in the hills, so we got,
Those aren't the hills they live in.
Yeah.
They will live somewhere.
Mountaineers, man, they're up there, right in the mountains right there. So, you gotta, hey, take, nothing for granted. We were inside, you're exactly right. So,
You've had prime
good
time.
observation. Were you up there on the hill trying to look too?
Get some of those guys.
You've had prime time kickoffs for the last two West Virginia games. We kick off in the afternoon this time. Would you rather have a nighttime kickoff, or does not matter to you?
I'd like a noon kickoff would be outstanding. 3:30 is the next best. 7:30 is the least favorite, but I think our kids like it. But this game could be played at 10 a.m. in the morning. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when this game gets played. It's the brawl. It's the backyard brawl. It doesn't matter when it gets played. It's it doesn't matter.
Hey, you talked about wanting to keep your defensive starters on the field. Part of that is, you guys are trying to play so fast on offense, you struggle, and you have to run right back out there. You and Kate talked at all about varying tempo to try to at least, even if you're struggling a little bit, to give
No.
the defensive.
No, and I know you guys are think I micromanage offenses through my years here, and I don't. I want to go. I want to go as fast as we can go. I want to go what hurts them. Now last week when Corleone came to the game, our plan was to go as fast as we possibly could and wear him out because we hadn't played that much. And again, near the end of the game, he's tapping out, right? I mean, I don't know, he just fell down. So we want to go as fast. That's our plan. We're not going to change. I don't want to handcuff Coach Bell or any of our offense coaches or our offense. We want to do what's best for us. I'm not worried about the defense. They got to suck it up and go.
Eli handled himself.
But my plan is to have success on offense and not worry.
Right, no, I understand.
We want to move the sticks. When you're going fast, you got to move the sticks. But we expect to move the sticks better than what we did first half.
Eli handled himself well in that high pressure situation in the comeback last week, but what's been the conversation this week knowing that this is going to be even more intense, more high pressure?
Yeah, good question. I mean, his first game is a starter, then his second game is on the road, then his third game's, one of the biggest games of the year because it's the next game and it's the backyard brawl. So it's his first experience in a big time, rivalry game. So that's it's like three. Couldn't we just have just a normal home game? No, but it's going to be that, and he's got to. But again, playing a game again. Once that first play gets snapped, it's just a normal game, I think. And it's about our guys executing for 60 minutes. Not for 30, not for 15, for 30 minutes in the first half, and for 30 in the second. Total of 60. That's our. But once that first kickoff, I think our guys are good to go.
For the guys who played in last year's game, is there an initial hunger, thirst because of what happened to sort of wash away that stink?
I don't speak for our players. We've talked to a couple of them this week, but I know I'm hungry. I know I don't forget, and I don't forget. Our players, I don't think forget either. So.
The school put out today that it's going to be a sold-out stadium. What do you expect of this environment on Saturday?
I expect it to be like it was a couple years ago. I mean, I think our Panther Pit will be outstanding, and I thank them. Prior to when they got the ball, I expect it to be like I expect I want our fans, I want our pit, Panther Pit to at least cause 2 unforced errors on offense. For them, I want to be quiet when our offense goes out there so we can communicate and get stuff done. But I expect it to be rowdy and expect them to be in it for 60 minutes till the end, and I expect our football team to keep them there engaged for 60.
Sorry, I lost my question. My bad.
Let his name on. There's an unforced error right
That's a Jerry
The crowd got you. The crowd got you.
That's a Jerry thing to do, right?
No, not you. Sharp as a tack.
I got it. Sorry, I remember it now. Yeah, my bad. When it comes to the offense and starting, how important is starting fast as far as your preparation, the level of preparation you guys go into to make sure that what you're doing is what you guys need?
You have this room bugged? You have this room bugged? I had a leadership council meeting this morning, and I was asking, hey, what do we got to do? And they say start fast. I'm like, well, again, psychologically, when I tell our guys, hey, we got to start fast. So we go 3-0 the first series. What's our kids think? What do they think? What do you guys think?
Anxious.
Well, they're kind of like, oh my God, we failed. We went 3-0. Like, oh, we lost. Like, to me, it's like, we want to start fast. Everybody knows that. But, like, I don't need to focus on that. We need to go play and execute for 60. And to me, the fast start is how you finish. And again, it's how you play every play, you know, and put it behind you. But I never want to say, hey, we got to start fast. Because as soon as you do that, say, oh, goal number 1, we didn't get that because we went 3 and out. Or when they drove down the field and kicked the field goal. Like, to me, it's about going out and playing like we know how to play, execute, you know, the call on offense, defense, and special teams. And I'm not worried about the fast start. Of course, we want to start fast.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say that's, hey, this is number 1 thing that we have to do. And
Nothing is the number 1, but is there an effort to like maybe get a script and it's like, hey, these are things that we know early on we should hit on these. Like to
yeah,
start
but we
with.
started fast last week.
Mhm.
Okay, we went right down the field. I mean, it was, you know, shoot Gavin on a, you know, rush around the edge. I hadn't seen, you know, talking about, you know, a script, you know, that was made there. I mean, like, everything was good until we had a receiver on the wrong route, and then, you know, start as fast. I mean, you know, starting fast. I mean, we had a drive, well, to your point. We drove down the field and you know, ate up a little bit of the clock, but you got to finish the drives. So it doesn't matter.
On the interception, that was a wrong route. That was the starting
Yeah,
there.
yeah. It wasn't all Eli's. I mean, he's got to be smart, but it was a failure out there.
Pat Neal said yesterday that this is a series he would like to see play every year. I know you're taking a.
You said Neil, I'm sorry.
Neil Brown said.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
was
You know,
one of our
I mean,
players, I'm like-
I guess first is that, I mean, I know there's a little break and then you guys pick it back after next year, then you pick it back
Yeah.
up and who knows where we'll be at by then. Jerry might even be retired by that time. Is it something you'd like to see every year? And would you like to play some of this game? Do you prefer it in September, or some of these rivalry games are played, you know,
Yeah.
in November?
I believe that, you know, the game should be played all the time. I mean, I don't think there's any, you know, this is why you coach football. This is why you play the game. But I believe the next time we play them, it's going to be later in the year. It's going to be Thanksgiving Day. How about that? Like, why not? Right? I think that.
You mean next season?
No, we don't play. You know, no.
We can do it next season.
No, I don't think so. I think, you know, it's got to be on the schedule. And we got, you know, when you schedule these things, you schedule way in advance. You know, years ago. So I think the next 4 games that we have with them, I think we had tried to get it, you know, in November sometime. EJ might help me out there, but I don't have that schedule in front of me. But we'd like it to be back like it used to be back in the old days. You know, I think a lot of times I remember as a little kid up in Youngstown watching it on Thanksgiving. Correct, EJ? I mean, that's kind of like it's a thing. I mean, that should be a, you know, to me, we need to get it back to where it used to be. But you know, the 9 a.m., 8 a.m., September, October, November. Doesn't matter.
That being said, can this game, you look what happened 2 years ago with your team after you win the game in the opener and you end up on your way to having a pretty good season. They win last year, they were kind of struggling, and then they ended up having a pretty good season. Is this game, can it be, you know, when you have this much packed into it, can it be
I don't think
jump
so.
start for whoever wins it?
Yeah, I don't think so. You know, again, it's a non-conference game. And, you know, next week is too. You know, it doesn't matter what we start off. You know, we got an open week and then we get an ACC play. That's where the focus is. You know, to get in the playoffs. You know, you could be 0-4 coming out of the preseason and get into the ACC play. Win the ACC, you're in the playoffs. You're one of those 12 teams. That's the ultimate goal. Is win an ACC championship, go get it then. So I mean, you know, it can't be, you know, everything. It's just not.
Seems like it should be after your conference schedule, right? If you're gonna play in November.
Yeah, but we don't pick that. I mean, that's great, but it doesn't matter. You know, play whenever. You know, I don't care if it's preseason or postseason. It doesn't matter.
Talk about stopping the run. What have you seen from Donaldson and White when watching film?
Jaheim White's a dude. I mean, that's another really good question. Talking about the opponent. Yeah, I think Jaheim's a good football player. I kind of see him kind of like a Desmond Reed. He's slippery. He's not real big, but he's explosive. He's made big plays for him. And then, you know, CJ's, you know, he's got they got, you know, 2 different kind of guys, kind of like we do. I don't think, you know, Derek Davis or Daniel Carter are 240. But CJ Donaldson's out. So they got 2-headed monster at running back, and you better be prepared for different stuff when both of them are in. And, you know, CJ will probably come in some short yardage stuff. But both good pass protectors, and they're good football players.
Do you see them use White like you guys do Desmond, like in a multitude of different facets?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, you know, I mean, I would say, I mean, they all do everything. It's
Yeah.
not like you say, hey, you know, Jaheim's in there, they're going to run outside runs and jet sweeps. And then when CJ's in, they're going to run inside zones and dives. But, you know, they do it all. I mean, CJ runs a lot of outside zone as well. So there's no tip as far as what they're doing when they're in there. They do everything. But, you know, one guy can hurt you more at certain things than others, I guess.
And how multiple are they defensively?
You know, they're multiple. I mean, you know, again, they're gonna look like a 3 down, and they're gonna, you know, get that 4th guy involved, whether it's from the, you know, the boundary or the field. You know, different coverages, so they're multiple on defense, very multiple.
You mentioned giving up only 212 yards last year, kind of not forgetting what happened down there. Did you feel like you guys let one kind of get away from you down there? Like you let a win that you could have had get away from you down there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we played, you know, extremely well in offense, right? I mean, we threw 2 interceptions down there. I think off, you know, I'm not sure how many points they got, maybe 3 points off of that. What was the final score?
17-6.
They scored 17 points, like, you know, when you had 2 turnovers, like, you know, it should have been 37, right? Yeah, I mean, you could say that, you know. But, you know, they got the win.
Any final questions before we wrap up?